Welcome to the DPS podcast, The Thought Loop. Today we have a special guest, which is Dr. Kanan. She is a celebrated psychologist, medical doctor, and hypnotherapist with over 23 years of experience. She has empowered more than 10,000 clients through 25,000 plus hours of consulting. She is the co-founder of Mind Celebrations. She has successfully created her practice by blending neuroscience and psychology to foster mental fitness. So, let's get into the podcast. Welcome, ma'am. And we would like, before diving into the deep conversations, I would like to have a small intro by you.
I'm Dr. Kanan, and my vision is to put India on the world map, to create it as a hub for proactive and preventive mental health, which basically means that you don't have to break your bones to strengthen them. Like you practice physical fitness every day, or you don't have to get a heart attack to strengthen your heart. You just do it every day. So together we should be able to make mental health a proactive and a preventive science and an art. So that's my introduction. I founded, with my co-founder Gurdarshan, we founded Mind Celebrations. As the name suggests, every day is an opportunity to celebrate your mind in sync with the proactiveness. And I also do work in organizations under the brand of Whole Brain Consulting. I work with leadership, culture to build psychological safety. Tomorrow when you go to work, and you go to organizations, and all your lovely students they'll want to work at places that are psychologically safe, right?
Right.
Not just physically safe, like you'll have lighting checked, electricity checked, fire checked, but is psychological safety there at the workplace? So that is what we strengthen, and really hope that organizations will wake up that we need psychologically safe leaders and that culture. I think I should stop now with my introduction.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, before we deep dive more, I would
Yeah.
just like to ask you a very crucial and critical question.
Correct.
आप कैसे हो मैम आज?
Thank you for asking. No one ever asks a psychologist how they are feeling, by the way.
I think they have this presumption that she's a psychologist. Why he or she would be
Correct.
sad or
Correct.
angry?
Correct.
They know how the emotions
Correct.
are sorted.
Correct. I remind people, cardiologist को भी heart की बीमारी होती है, BP भी होता है.
Exactly.
मतलब, how am I today? Honest submission, I had a foot injury yesterday. So I was very confused in the morning कि अब आना चाहिए कि नहीं DPS में. But when Principal Sakshi mentioned to me that, listen, our students are really eager, they're really looking forward to it. So my confusion moved to clarity. Don't get the X-ray done now. X-ray your foot once you finish. So that's something to answer. I moved from confusion to clarity. I'm happy I've made it here. And right now in this moment, I'm excited to see how prepared everybody is in this room. So yeah, does that answer your question?
So, ma'am, as you mentioned, like injury. Like
Yeah.
for me, back last year, I broke my hand.
Are you?
Yeah, so I dislocated it completely, and I was there with a plaster for 1 month. And being an athlete, I understood that there are breaks and there are downs coming up. But I have seen my friends who had the similar injuries or similar, problems that they faced, but they were not able to recover upon it.
So they were not able to recover from the injury?
Yeah, so psychological injury, because when you play, even today when I go on the field,
Right.
I have this thing in my mind that I will break it again. I feel the
fear.
pain again. So how can one recover from it?
If it's any consolation, scar tissue is stronger than healthier tissue, by the way.
Yeah.
Scar tissue, I repeat, scar tissue is stronger than healthier tissue. The difference is the sports teacher has not told you that.
Right.
Two, you've got to ask yourself, what did the injury teach me? Like if I ask myself, what did the injury teach me? That particular morning, I was angry yesterday and I was storming into the rooms and I banged against a bed. Now, what has that taught me?
Anger is bad.
No, anger is a great emotion, by the way. I will tell you in some time how it is good. But the fact that it made me mindful of my anger. that if I have anger, there is no need to keep walking. I could have taken a moment, processed it, and now I'm more mindful. So my next few years, when I walk in my own home, I'm going to be more mindful. Similarly, the injury on the field, there is a gift in suffering. We are not attuned to seeing the gift. We are so focused on that pain. Right? So in the injury, you've got to ask yourself, your thought was not in your body. Your thought was somewhere else. Right?
True.
Similarly, you are more, when you start playing again, your consciousness, which is like udi udi jai patang, will come back in the body.
Yeah.
And hence, there is a gift in that injury. But someone has to tell you that before you start playing a sport, always ask yourself a question. And not just sports, even when you sit to study, when you attend a lecture, I'll ask both of you a question. Yeah, great. Yeah. What percentage of you is in your body now? What's the first answer that comes to you? First number.
As of now, 99%.
99?
98.
98. Now you see, 2% of you is wondering, 1% of you is wondering. You're lucky you guys are 98, 99. Most people would say 60, 70, things like that. Right? Question is, where is 2% of you?
Maybe thinking about the next question or the next how it's going to go.
Correct. So what has happened now? So you bring yourself in the now. Like the kite, you manja pakad ke is pal mein leke aao. Nahi leke aoge to ye question ka maja nahi aayega. Similarly, sports ka maja tabhi hai. So before you play sports, every sports teacher should encourage the child to say, before you start, what percentage of you is in the body? पूरा 100% आना चाहिए बॉडी में तो ही खेलो. Every teacher should ask the child before they start that subject, what percentage of you is in your body now? नहीं तो जो पढ़ाएंगे, let's say some child is sitting, teenager sitting, वो आएगा घोड़े पे ले जाएगा. I mean, just, my history teacher used to say that line, what are you thinking? वो आएगा घोड़े पे ले जाएगा. But we have different thoughts. When will I get my phone back? Do I have to go for this tuition? I have this test. So mind is not there. When will the break happen? When will I meet my friends in the foyer? Consciousness is not in that moment. So the child is at 40%. Now the teacher is dealing with 40% of the child. Bye.
But maybe the interest of that child is not there in that subject or something like that.
Right. But how has interest vanished?
Maybe
it is not, what should I say, that substance, which evaporates. It is, you understand?
Yeah.
Interest is a combination of two things. Engagement. That means how exciting, entertaining, engaging is the teacher, and self-interest.
Agree.
Combination of two things, right? So over time, self-interest starts to dip if consciousness is not there. Okay, or if they did badly, depends, many factors depend on it. But what is in the locus of control of the teacher is to remind the child, before we start, I just want to check in. Are you in the present moment in your body? Are you, see, I've done this thousands of times. What percentage of you is in the body? When you sit to study at home, when you open the book, what percentage of me is in the body? Am I in that cricket match? If I am, bring myself back in the now. Am I in Instagram? And that's how focus is built. And when focus is built, injuries are lesser, is the answer to your question.
So more focus, less injuries.
Yeah, more focus, less injury. Not just injury on the field, forgetting content in examination papers, not knowing the answer at that time is also a form of an injury, right?
True.
Yeah.
So, well, I have heard a famous statement saying that everything psychological is also biological. I would really love your insight.
Where did you hear that?
Well, actually, one of my friends' father was a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
And during my lockdown time, I was quite mentally, disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
So I had consulted him, and he was the first one who told me this sentence. And since that day, I'm
It stuck. You should have asked him the question.
I did, but I didn't get such a, answer which could actually satisfy.
I'm going to hate myself for refuting a psychologist. Actually, it's quite the reverse. Psychology includes thoughts, emotions, and mind. That's part of the mind. Thoughts, emotions, behavior. What we say mind is क्या? दिखता है क्या? Organ है? इल्ले. Mind is thoughts, emotions, actions. Right? उसमें से action दिख जाता है, thought, emotion दिखते नहीं, महसूस कर सकते. Right? The brain is an organ. Yes? Is that answered? Brain is an organ, na?
Yes, definitely.
Correct. So say na yes. Now, coming back, brain is an organ, right? Now, what is emotion? Can you answer?
An idea that brain creates about something.
That's an illusion. If an idea brain is creating.
Does emotion relate to...
What is emotion? Simple question. Emotion,
It's how you feel.
Then that is feeling.
So, maybe emotion
How
is...
your body reacts.
That's a reaction.
Okay. So...
Sorry, I know mera podcast hai tumhara.
It's fine.
But the question, so emotion is nothing but an electrochemical response in the brain.
Okay.
Just to save time, it actually gets digested in the body in how much time?
Milliseconds or
6 seconds.
nanoseconds.
6 seconds.
6 seconds.
Emotion is an electrochemical response. Everything that gets released, it gets digested in the body 6 seconds. Which means that after 6 seconds, if you decide to hold on to it, whose decision was it?
Ours.
Yours, right? That becomes a feeling because it was your decision. Emotion हजम होके निकल गया बॉडी में से.
But we were the one who was different.
So you're stuck to the feeling. वो शादी में फूफा जी चाचा जी गुस्से हो रहे थे 4 साल से. You understand? That is when feelings get sustained over weeks and months, it becomes the mood. Then we say वो चिड़चिड़ा है. You understand?
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming back to your question, a lot of psychology is biology.
So it's a part of it.
So basically, the healthier the body.
I feel if you focus on biology and not psychology, because brain is an organ. So today, modern psychology focuses more on biology than psychology. Because brain को अगर कुछ दो instruction, you engage the brain, the body will follow. The mind will follow. The point is, mind is a monkey. One day like this, another day like this. So, work with biology.
To fix psychology.
To fix psychology.
Wow.
Challenging the paradigm, right?
Thank you so much for sharing this.
Correct. Because mind is a monkey, na. You can make up your mind, and in 5 minutes I can convince you otherwise. But your brain will not. No, brain will release a chemical, and hence I would invite more and more students to focus on biology, even if you are an economic student in that sense or commerce students in that sense. Please engage the biological aspects of the brain. That means do things that would trigger chemicals in the brain.
Okay. So
That
do you
is
think
important.
playing sports would encourage a healthier
Of course.
mental?
Of course. See, a little bit about sports. Sports, like you correctly we spoke in the start, it brings you in the present moment. Nazar hatti, durghatna ghati. You saw that?
Yeah.
Right?
Even on the highway.
Correct. So I'm saying even on the highway. Correct. So the one beautiful thing about sports is that you have nowhere else to be but on the field. The minute you start thinking otherwise, you will get an injury and then you're, back in the present moment. So it's very important. In today's world where so much is online, we are not connecting in real life. So sports is a great thing because it brings you in the present moment. Sports is a great thing because it encourages some sense of teamwork. Okay? Even if you're playing in individual sports, you're responding to another person. Third, it's great for physical health. Your biology, your hormones. Most people feel, if I play sports, I will get tired. Myth. It is the contrary. If you play sports, you actually, or go to the gym, you have more energy. Right? So, if you notice, like today, burnout is so common.
Yeah. The corporate burnouts, students are getting burned out.
Students are getting burnout. Corporates, so definitely.
In this young tender age, we are still,
Yeah, constantly tired. Like, how many people you wake up in the morning and you tell your mother, I'm tired?
Not much.
Not much, because
Bach gaye.
we have this.
Athlete.
Yeah, I go to the gym, go for a walk.
Okay, right. So what happens is, so by the way, I would love for you to take an assessment on www.mindcelebrations.com. Why? The assessment will say, just say you have your tab here, right? If the battery is running out, what will it say?
Low battery.
Low battery charge now. Where is any meter telling you charge your energy level? We charge mobile phone. Are we charging ourselves?
Sleep.
Are you? But what is there a device
No, there is
telling
no
you
device.
what you have to charge? No, right? There should be, right? And hence, if you take an energy meter, it's like an assessment, 5-7 minutes. Students, parents, teachers, everybody should take it. Why? Because you will know how much battery is in your system.
Before
Makes
complete
sense?
burnout.
Correct. I love that word, before complete burnout. Because if you knew you're burning out, you would just charge yourself.
Right.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Correct. So take that. Now, answering your question on the burnout, that in burnout, see, we have 4 quadrants of energy. That means, अपने को क्या लगता है ऐसे भगवान जिधर से एनर्जी डाल रहा है उधर से और आता जाएगा मैजिक शो है क्या? Correct. The only resources that last are the ones we renew, both outside us and inside us. जब पानी लेक में खत्म होता है तो भाई लेक बचाओ, नदी बचाओ, हवा बचाओ. You know, we talk of pollution. After the problems happen, government जाग जाता है. But who's going to jagofy अंदर? You understand? So first is catch the problem. अभी देखो, अगर मुझे यहाँ से जाना है पूना जाना हो, या आपके लिए पूना, you're already in पनवेल, पूना से थोड़ा आगे कोल्हापुर, गाड़ी एक झटके में जाएगी क्या?
No, it takes a break.
It takes a break. What else it does? What else will you check if you have to drive from here to Kolhapur?
Whether the fuel is completely filled.
Correct. Tire pressure.
The ability to hold your, washroom breaks and rest.
Washroom break, barabar. Then?
And the functionality of the engine.
Functionality of the engine. What else?
If you are comfortable enough to sit in a car for a long period of time.
Correct. See, he's saying मजा आना चाहिए भाई. Comfort आना चाहिए.
Good music.
Good music. What else? One most important thing you have
Good
not
traffic rules.
said. Good traffic rules. Okay, I hear you.
No traffic.
That's a lame point, but a good view. A
Good
window
view.
seat.
Window seat. Okay.
No traffic.
Or something else you have not shared.
Ventilation.
Skill of the driver.
Oh, right.
चला कौन रहा है भाई गाड़ी, right? Correct. So similarly within us, the size of the fuel tank is your physical fuel. Okay. Emotional fuel is the quality of the fuel. Diesel है कि super diesel. Right? Quality of emotions. Third is skill of the driver. बराबर driver को आता है कि नहीं, ठोक ठाक नहीं देगा गाड़ी. And last is मजा आना चाहिए, spiritual. So physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And hence when you play sports, you go to the gym, your physical, that means basic गाड़ी में अपने को fuel है कि नहीं, quality तो बाद में. Similarly, energy burnout के लिए going to the gym is physical fuel. नहीं तो you are running on an empty drive. अभी आजकल के बच्चे खेल नहीं रहे.
They're going to the gym.
तो don't go to the gym, they don't exercise, they don't play out. तो वो टैंक ही खाली है.
So how is the car?
Correct. That means गाड़ी धक्का मार के चल रही है because basic fuel they are not putting. So that includes exercise, sleep, healthy food, not junk food. We get junk sleep because we are seeing mobile phone and sleeping. So all that basics में problem We call it, as doctors, we used to call it BMR. It's a secret. You know what's basic? I'm allowed to say it. Basics mein rada.
Oh.
BMR used to be basal metabolic rate as doctors. So it is BMR because we don't focus on the physical fuel, which is the most fundamental. And parents also have forgotten. Zomato hai, junk food aata hai.
So, my mother, being a yoga teacher, always taught me that you should eat good leafy vegetables and good food. So, and there is a thing in yoga where it says that there is tamasic food and there is sattvic food.
Correct.
And in tamasic you have all the meat and the chicken and all. So, is it like also impacting our mental health in some or the other way?
I think, proteins are very important. Okay. And every culture in our country chooses protein in different forms. Okay. There are some people who choose proteins from vegan food with moong, chana, besan, soya. So be it. There are some cultures that choose chicken, fish. And they have great sources of protein, if you're asking from a mental health perspective. Because proteins are important for alertness. Proteins are important for repair, wear and tear in the body. So I'm saying to each its own. Right. We are not here to change people's cultures and religion. As long as you're eating proteins in the day. That is important. Today the element I want to highlight is proteins is missed out. Because bread and cheese, which is so much, and rice, you understand?
Yeah.
Protein.
Carbohydrate is more than what
correct.
is food.
So you got to balance it.
Yeah, but we see that people these days who go to gym are taking supplementary proteins in the protein shakes.
Correct.
So is that healthy?
Up to a limit is okay. But overdoing it is not okay. Like having 3 protein shakes a day is not okay because then you're not having natural protein. Chalo, understandable, vegetarians don't get proteins as much as they would want. Actually, protein means जितना वजन है उतना प्रोटीन होना चाहिए.
Right, agree.
Correct? तो अगर तुम 50 किलो हो तो 50 ग्राम आना चाहिए, 60 हो तो 60 ग्राम. अभी उतना प्रोटीन किधर से खाएगा वो वेजिटेरियन? कैसे खाएगा? Correct? So then it is okay. But don't overdo it. I would still say stick to natural sources. And if you have to, okay, one time is fine. But don't over it because otherwise it impacts your kidneys.
Yeah, right. Ma'am, you mentioned that exercise is an important part. But people, I think these days misconceptualize exercises as gym rather than any other sports. So is gym equally good than when compared to sports? Or because...
I mean, the entire element of sports is having teamwork, outdoor, nature. But to each its own. It's better to do something than nothing at all. We can't be that demanding and telling people exactly now what to do. I'm saying go to the gym, but at least play a sport once a week.
Okay.
So it's based on privileges.
Oh, privilege is a big word. But listen, whatever gets you your joints to move. Let's just leave it at that. As long as your joints are moving, if you play sports, it's great because, like I said, there is teamwork. There's a lot of... See, like for example, a game like squash, tennis is very good for decision making, just as a thought, because you have to hit the ball at that time. So children who can't decide well should play racket sports, just as a thought. Abhi, you're asking me from a mental health perspective, sports are good. Gym is still more mechanical and robotic. In that sense. But like I said, it is better to do something than nothing.
Correct. Thank you.
So we have seen that no matter how much the time changes, we and our parents have a generational gap. So there are these miscommunications which coming up in our teenage years. So give us few methods to actually bridge this gap. So that there is
as a parent,
as a psychologist.
Yeah. No, you want to bridge. Okay, so if I'm, let's say, addressing this question to parents, okay, you want to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Okay. First is connection before correction. Remember this golden line. Connection before correction. Okay. And Children should understand that for parents, and parents should understand that for children. Now, a very good technique that I learned from the chairman of a very reputed petrochemical and fertilizer company, and he taught me, and he gave me a book which was called Nonviolent Communication. Okay, and the book was very interesting. I stumbled upon it many years later in practice. And nonviolent communication basically talks about how you've got to communicate nonviolent. And it doesn't mean that every parent is shouting at their child, but also means that an individual must differentiate between observations and assumptions. What does that mean? For example, if I look at you and say, hey, you're being very lazy, what's going to be your response?
I would act as a rebel.
Correct. You go into your shell, you rebel and say, abhi main aur lazy ban ke dikhati hu. Correct? Or you'll say, you think I'm lazy? What about last time when I told you to give me food and you didn't give me? You were being lazy, na? Right? Or so you get defensive, rebellious, or you go into a shell. Does the end objective get done of you getting to, let's say, pick up that object?
No.
Correct? And hence, non-violent communication says share observations that, hey, I noticed for the last few days, you're just leaving your clothes there. What is happening? How can I help you change that habit? I feel, then you say, my feeling is that you're a growing adult, and if you pick it up, you will just be better off to pick up things you have forgotten or left in life. So state the observation, your feeling, and your need. Most of the times we label children. You understand? You're always avoiding, you're such an avoider, you're always angry. Or you can say, listen, I'm noticing that you're raising your pitch and your tone of talking. What is it that you're trying to get across to me? What is it that I'm not hearing? What is it that you'd like me to understand? You understand? You state what is the difference? Observations versus assumptions. And to bridge the gap, the only thing is observation. But this needs to be taught to parents. It needs to be taught to students, perhaps in a gamified way. Yeah, because observation means what? आँख से देखी हुई चीज, नाक से सूंघी हुई, कान से सुनी हुई, ज़बान से चखी हुई, बॉडी में सेंसेशन क्या है? हम लोग उस पर ध्यान ही दे देते ना, हम अपना लेबल लेके चिपका देते हैं. You understand?
So how, as an individual who is going through adolescence, I can control my own mood swings at multiple areas, like being at school, being at home, because some days you're very excited and enthusiastic, but then there are some days which you feel low, but you can't always share about things that why do I feel such a way. So personally, how can I self-help myself?
Okay, so the first thing you have to follow at Mind Celebrations, we follow 3 things. AAA. Awareness, acceptance, and action. First is awareness कि ये मेरे को हो रहा है. In awareness, you learned in school, curve at a cat, bow at a bat, debit what comes in, credit what goes out, right? Right? Nobody taught you your emotional literacy.
True.
So no emotion is good or bad. Every emotion is, so for example, we discussed anger. What is anger telling you?
Something which you are very determined to do it at the, in scenarios,
correct.
sometimes at the wrong time or the wrong way, or sometimes it just gives you a boost to do it the right way.
What is anger telling you?
That you want to do it, but you are not able to.
Correct. That I want to get to a goal, there is something coming in the middle of my goal. So is anger good or bad?
It may be helpful in a way.
It helpful Could be, but at that moment, you're not listening to your anger. Nobody has taught you to understand. Anger is telling you you have a goal, something's come in the middle of it. You want to get to your goal. What is sadness telling you? Because we don't want to be sad, right? We want to be eternally happy. Correct? Now I'm telling you sadness is not bad. What is sadness telling you? Think.
That's something you can't achieve.
Something which is not there.
That could be anger. You want to achieve it.
But if it's out of my, hands, or if I cannot achieve it in how I try it
Then
may
you
be.
get sad. Correct. So sadness is what was mine is no longer mine. You lose your wallet. जो मेरा था अभी नहीं है. Boyfriend छोड़ के गया.
True.
वो मेरा था वो नहीं है. Correct? So sadness is that. So what is sadness telling you?
What's mine is no more
Not mine. So there is an emptiness inside. And I have to fill the emptiness. You understood? Like that, there are many. There are primary emotions, secondary emotions. Like we have primary color, secondary colors. Nobody tells us. I wish I had a chart. I would have drawn primary emotion, secondary. There's something called Plutchik's wheel of emotions. I believe every school should print it and keep it. Plutchik's wheel. It has primary emotions and secondary. Love, the most famous word in the world. It is not a primary emotion.
As a secondary emotion.
Correct. It is a combination of two primary emotions, joy and trust. When you feel joy with someone and you trust them, can you love them? So coming back to your question, that if you first is emotional literacy होना चाहिए. Country में literacy level बढ़ रहा है, emotional literacy नहीं बढ़ रहा है. And hence emotional literacy is very, very important. Awareness. Then you have to accept, ये हो रहा है. Not blame because of my mother, because of my father. The mother will blame because the child is like that. No. Acceptance that this is happening to me. And once we have acceptance that this has happened to me, then you take action. But pehle to understand the emotion. Hello, hear the emotion. Phone baja right time pe, because you have to have hotline with emotion. Correct?
Right.
Satya. Correct. So you have to maintain a hotline with the emotion. And third, you have to accept it. Then there are ways to deal with emotions.
Basically, when is the right time to seek a psychiatrist? For whether it's parents, let's start with parents and then I want to ask the students.
Okay. Your previous question was if a child is not opening up.
Yeah.
And you were wondering if the child doesn't open up, psychiatrist ke paas jao ya psychologist. That's how you were thinking. Correct. Okay.
I think for the most part, or the school, friends are the only psychologists you get.
Yeah, I did one reel, why your BFF is not your best friend. I don't know. You saw it?
Yeah.
Correct. Actually, that's okay. So, everybody has a place in our life. Your friends have a place in their life. The psychologist has a place in their life, and the psychiatrist has a place in their life. Okay. So, I'll answer your first question, that what happens when children don't open up. So, if the child is not opening up, the parents should not label. अरे मेरा बच्चा बहुत shy है यार, तू इतना shy क्यों है, तू खुलता क्यों नहीं है, मतलब थोड़ी कैन का बॉटल है कि खोलेंगे.
Agree.
So पहले parents have to start sharing. See, obviously first validate that they are not opening up. Okay, what is happening? I notice you are not able to share easily. Okay, don't label him as shy. Pehle. 2, validate it. Okay, are you, you want to share your feelings, what is happening. Then you say, once when I was also small, I was not able to open up and I was really struggling. One day I went on stage, and I was completely tongue-tied. And after that day, I realized, so whatever be. Or when I went to join this company for 6 months, I found it very difficult to make friends. I used to eat alone. So all I'm saying is you have to share your stories. A, when you couldn't open up. B, without hitting the bullseye, you can every day share a failure you had. Because perhaps the child has a perfect version of opening up. And the child needs to see imperfection in the parent. Correct? Once the parent starts sharing imperfections, the child slowly will see the world as tolerating imperfections. He feels if he opens up and people see the real him, he will be rejected. Which is why we jump on social media. Because in social media, we get these likes. We mistake those as love. And in the real world, I have to conflict, I have to argue, I have to open up, because that is mathaji, headache. That one is easy. So like a fish out of water, we jump back to online. So many children are very open online, but offline very unable to open. So this is how parents can handle. Remember, if it is still a struggle, then you must go to a psychologist proactively. Proactively taking a child to a psychologist is a sign of love. It is not a sign of your failure or the child's failure. We at Mind Celebrations believe that is proactive love. Okay, because it's a form of love. If the child's head is hurting, you will take to physician, no?
Right.
Now, psychologists deal with thoughts, they deal with emotions and behavior. That means if there are struggles of day-to-day life, you take to a psychologist. So, a psychiatrist. Let's say a child screams and shouts when the mother says study. Will you take to a psychiatrist?
That's a basic response.
Basic thing. But if the child is screaming a lot and shouting a lot, banging the door, not wanting to come out, you will take to psychologist. On the other hand, without the mother asking the child to study, the child is screaming and shouting. You will take to psychiatrist because no trigger. So if you see behaviors without a trigger and the child is continuously washing hands, saying there are germs, there are germs, there are germs, you will take to psychiatrist. If there is no trigger and the child is saying, everybody is watching me, they are continuously watching, I'm walking on the road, the neighbors are watching me, I feel someone is following. Now one is, of course, you must rule out if there is genuinely someone following. But today we are physically in a much safer world than we were earlier. Online safety is a problem. Physical safety is not so much. Physically we are much safer. The world has become safer, if you notice. Bombay is much safer than earlier.
Definitely.
Just as a thought. Okay. But the question is, if there is no trigger and the child is showing symptoms, please do not shy away taking to a psychiatrist. I cannot tell you how many parents feel ठीक हो जाएगा फेज है ये बिना ट्रिगर रिस्पॉन्स फेज नहीं है. अगर रात को बच्चा उठ रहा है, उसको ट्रेमर्स है, डर लग रहा है, then psychologist is okay.
Right. So it's a trauma response.
We don't know where is the trauma, but if the child is having bad dreams at night and is not able to sleep, breaking out into a sweat, you take to a psychologist, no? Like we take to dentist, it is okay to go to psychologist. It is very simple. And it is okay to go to psychiatrist as well.
Some children really don't open up, and then to keep up with those wavy emotions, extreme emotions, they turn into self-harm. So could you actually help us out to how to figure it out that they are in that verge of doing such things?
See, basically, if the child has started retreating into his shell, disconnection is the first sign that they can head towards self-harm. Is keeping away, not sharing with family, not sharing with friends. In fact, if you notice it, it is your responsibility to red flag it to the mother or teacher or even the child. We have the luxury of taking care of ourselves, but the honor of taking care of each other. And never forget that.
Yes.
So,
when parents these days try to open up to their wards and they try to be friends with them, there was a big surge of all the way on WhatsApp communities and Facebook communities, Insta communities, or even on news that try to be your child's friend. When it comes at an age where you don't, like, personally, I cut off the illegal part of the conversations that I did with my friends and just tell my mother the legal ones. But my mother or whatever with my friends I've seen, they try to be very friendly with it. But as a child, I feel like they are trying to breach my privacy. And for many, it's like they are trying to breach your privacy. Like, for example, phone checking is something like when parents try to phone check their students or their wards, they are like, why are you doing this to me? You are breaching my privacy. So, is there a better way to be your child's friend or to better way to communicate to them?
I think a parent is a parent. A friend is a friend. Problem is that the friend starts replacing and becoming the parent, telling the child what to do, what not to do. And the child listens also because your friend hai, correct? And the parent is trying to become the friend. Okay, you be a good, be a conscious parent, not a good parent, but a conscious parent. Okay, you will have to give love because a parent will give love and put a boundary. Friend will not do boundary. Friend ka boundary is don't talk to that person, don't talk to them. You are in my group, not in that group. That is their version of, you know. So you asked two questions. One is about a parent can be a safe place to come and open up. And a parent has to reconcile with that much कि वो इतना ही बताएगी मुझे, इतना ही. You keep reiterating to the child and keep reminding, listen, I'm pushing you to get 95, but if you fail also I love you. You reiterate. You know, like if the child says, you'll kill me if I fail. No, I will not kill you if I fail. I will love you even no matter, I'm pushing you. To get your 95, I would love for you to get 95. But even if you don't get 95, I will still love you. It is okay. See, we are not creating a culture where children are allowed to fail. No, we think agar bachcha fail hua to bhai main kharab mother. The child's failure or poor, pehle to fundamentally in today's time to the understanding of failure has changed. Today if child gets 65 also the child has failed. No bhai, child has not failed with 60 marks or 65 marks. No, child very badly. No, very badly is less than 35 and that is not an indicator of your parenthood. It is better the child fails now than somewhere in the future because by that time they've not learned. So these are life lessons. Very difficult. I'm saying this, I'm a mother. It is very difficult for the mother or the father to digest. But we have to build appetite and gut for it. That it is okay, abhi hua to baad mein मुश्किल है. Like that we say ना अभी सस्ते में पट रहा है ऐसे सोच लो. वो बड़ा because तभी stakes will be higher when the child is older, bigger, working. So what was your question about dealing with
them in a way that it is, they also feel that they are not being reached.
So one has to reconcile with how much the child will tell. Okay. Hopefully if the child shares everything, it is what is that? Extra surplus. Okay. Windfall like that.
Yes.
अगर सब कुछ बता दिया तो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली कहीं अटक गए और कहीं फंस गए वो बताना इम्पॉर्टेंट है. वो एक्स्ट्रा तुम्हारा पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो वांट एंटरटेनमेंट. नो, ये भी बता वो उसके चक्कर में दिस इफ दे मिस नो यू आर इन ट्रबल. मीन्स इफ दे गेट इनटू अ प्रॉब्लम, if they get into any troubled area, that they should come and tell. And that is most important. Kabhi kuch galat kiya, you just come and tell. There is nothing that we cannot solve in life. So you have to reiterate to the child, there is nothing we cannot solve together. Just come and tell the truth. It is possible I may be angry, but I promise I will not slap or hit. Just tell the truth, there is nothing we cannot solve. The parent has to consciously keep reiterating these lines to the child. Okay, and last but not the least, I cannot overlook the fact that parents it is important because today online safety is damn important. You have no idea who's following the child. You have no idea what kind of people are DMing the child. What does a parent do? Of course they want to know what's going on. They are not curious cats. They want to know because they love and care. So if the child allows, balle balle, most likely they will not. So if they don't, I would recommend just get a friend or a cousin or a mentor or somebody whom the child trusts. Maybe you have a best friend who's slightly more cooler than you, or at least the child sees that friend cooler than you. Tell that friend, Baba, jara aankh rakh. He's not getting into the DM, but at least like,
He
so what
knows.
you're not creating control, but mindful presence through someone else, and the parent has to just reconcile that everything is okay. You understand?
Yes.
So you're just having a mindful, powerful presence around the child, and that presence should also satiate the parent's need, and at least know that my child is not posting anything unsafe. You know, today people post different avatars, different pictures, clothes, different things.
Right.
You know, the version of fashion is also changing so much. So that is something that parents have to just live with.
But we see that sometimes even the word is the seriousness of life that we expect it to come at a certain age.
Correct.
Or at a certain experience. It does not come, or even if it does come, they try to avoid it. Even when parents are liberal enough to get they are open to it, they are okay with speaking about anything that happens in their life, and they avoid that. Even okay, if he is failing, it's fine, he'll study in the next year and get good marks. But I think somewhere also the ward also gets the greater advantage of it, that the child gets the advantage कि my mother and father are not telling me anything, मैं अपनी मर्जी का करूँगा.
So like I said, there are two kinds of parenting currently. Either you're helicoptering or you're too liberal. Helicopter? Do you know helicopter? Tuck, 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 tuck. You know? Correct. Where are you going? What are you doing? Whom are you meeting? Na. Show me. Okay. What are you studying? How much you're studying? Tell. And everything is like, I'm very hands-on as a mother. Helicopter mother.
So in and out, I should know everything.
So one is the helicopter in the name of being hands-on, or then there is the liberal variety. I have given my child the liberty. They will make the decisions. They know what is best for them. How else will he learn? Either extreme is not good. Life is not black and white. You have to live in grey. So you have to dance between the two. So helicopter, when you see, life is about conducive and non-conducive. If the child is too free, and you know your child, very like ekdam hi, I'm sorry if my hands conveyed recklessness, but
Very
if
open
the child
to it,
is,
whatever
if
he
the
wants
child
to
is
do.
very open, I will do what I want, let me do it, then you have to little bit oscillate between helicoptering, a little bit, because that is conducive for that child. It is not conducive for the other child, it is conducive for your child. Because child mentality is very liberal. थोड़ा सा you have to see ना क्या चल रहा है. On the other hand, if the child is very shy, नहीं मैं मम्मी पापा के साथ जाऊँगा, पापा बोले वो ही करूँगा, and that can also happen. No, if my friends are not there, I will not go. I need people. The child is like that, then you be liberal, Baba. If you become helicopter, the child will doubt himself further. So there is no right and wrong. It is conducive and non-conducive. You have to be conscious. You have to first tell, I have to not be my natural self. Pehle to. Natural self means maybe my mentality is helicopter. Maybe as a spouse, I was always worried where my husband went, what he did, where he went, what time, खाना खाया कि नहीं, घर पहुँचोगे कि नहीं, क्या हुआ, क्या है. If that may not work for the child. And if the husband was like that, it may not work. You have got to ask yourself, what is it that will help my child, not help me? Can you see the difference?
Yes.
What will help my
Child.
not help me, because then I'm only working on my anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, anxiety gives something
Correct.
for you, but it doesn't take you anywhere.
Correct. So sometimes also for us as parents, children become these projects that we have to resolve, because now if we didn't do this, what else will we do?
Oh God.
Correct. So it's just like a project.
So I think it goes with
No
the
deadline.
saying. Yeah, it goes with the saying that
Correct.
having a child is a responsibility, not a.
Correct. It is not a problem that I have to keep solving.
It's a choice, and it's a.
I mean, it is a choice. And then there are times it is a problem to solve. But then there are also times that, like I said, it's just a dance. It's just a dance. You just have to dance through it.
Right.
Well, regarding the shy people, there are people who are actually, not wanting to interact with people.
Are you talking of yourself?
Yes. I mean, honestly, I'm talking about myself. I mean, these are
How did I know?
Because I'm a bit timid in nature.
No.
That's what my friends say.
No, because
Not
I'm a
me,
psychologist. Sorry, I just realized we've become too serious for too long. Okay, ask your question.
Yeah, so basically, there
We'll
was-
cut that stuff, don't worry.
No, no problem. I mean,
No, just come on.
Yeah. So there was this event going on, and most of the people I know were present there. And then these guys called me up saying that, come on, like, you're gonna have fun, and why are you at home? And I had all the permission at home. My mom said, go.
Go, yeah. Your mother will say, just go.
Yeah,
Just go
get
have
out.
fun.
Liberal parent.
Yeah. Like, जी ले अपनी जिंदगी, Simran.
And then I'm like, no, there is a lot of people there. I'm confident.
Correct,
I'm on my
correct.
table with my laptop and I'm
Correct.
completely fine.
Correct.
So is it actually a problem?
What do you want to hear?
I mean, I want a real diagnosis so that I can actually work upon it.
But I don't want to label you.
Fine. I really want to
Okay,
know what
so-
the problem is.
The problem is not a label. The problem is you got to get away from your laptop and mobile. And spend hours, even if you spend hours reading a book, you spend cooking, you spend dancing. But if you use the mobile and the laptop or television and not be with people, it is a problem.
Okay. Like, I mean, even
If you sit at home, chat with your mother, chat with your father, cook something, dance away to glory, color, paint, pottery, it's okay.
I'm honestly speaking, I'm not a gadget addict. But as a matter of fact, I go out but alone. I go for 3 hours walks just alone.
So, correct. So that's also a great thing. Then you must ask yourselves in your private moments, what about people makes me feel unsafe? You don't have to answer that. There's no pressing need. But the question you must ask is, what about people, physical people, real people, make me as a person feel unsafe? But that's a therapy-led question.
I will work upon it.
Yeah.
So I think.
Make sense?
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, when
No,
someone
it's
asks a
fine,
question.
please.
Yeah. And you've got to ask that. Now, it's a difficult question to answer. Not necessarily an easy one, but a very important one to answer. Because tomorrow, the real world is made up of real life people. And there is real life problems. And there will be spaces where there are crowds. Maybe you have just simple, sometimes people just feel suffocated in crowded places. But sometimes they push themselves to do. It's like when you have to go to the gym. Now, every day, your joints may hurt. But you still go, right?
Because it improves you.
Correct. So you go out because it
Improves.
There you go. So even if there is a problem, you can keep working on the root cause, but because it improves you, you make the effort. Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you
So don't label yourself.
So I think people these days go for validation in physical world and online
Correct.
world. And when they don't find it in the physical world, they would
Correct.
move it onto the online world.
Correct.
But then when we go on online, we see that it's all the lala world that we could imagine.
Correct.
Perfect bodies, perfect language, perfect music, good vibes, and all the filthy
Correct.
cameras. And that's somewhere where the person who is not so comfortable physically, and when it sees to online, it grows a insecurity of, many insecurities about themselves. So I would like that if you could share some light what reality is and how to de-influence yourself from the lala world that you are biased about?
Very tough question.
Because I spoke it too long?
No, it's a tough question.
Oh.
See, pehle to understand, millions and millions and millions and trillions of dollars are spent to create what you are enjoying. Okay? What is the definition of addiction?
You keep doing it
Doing the same thing again and again.
because it gives you
You
satisfaction.
brush your teeth every day.
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of a stimulation.
Is that addiction?
No, that's an habit.
That's a habit.
So addiction is doing it over and over again without any control over it, which is harming you.
Maybe because of that stimulus which we want. The addiction is what I'm trying to say.
Like you have sugar, craving the
Sweet
chocolate.
Yeah.
Are you saying that's addiction?
No.
It might be, yes, it can be.
She disagrees. Wait, let her tell.
Yeah, for me.
She disagrees, huh?
Yeah. I mean, see, I'm talking in the context of something which I know is wrong and I'm still doing it. That's addiction for me.
Something that is wrong.
Yeah, like
You use your phone every day.
Yeah,
you know it's
exactly.
wrong, but you use it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's important, like if there's a call, if there's a message which I have to reply, that's the only time I should be using my phone.
Correct, but people don't use it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it has become a time out. It's 10 minutes, I want to see my Instagram. So that's addiction.
So addiction is defined as a relentless pull to a substance or a thing that limits your day-to-day life. Which is why we use sugar and salt. Without salt you can't eat, but you're not addicted to salt. It limits your day-to-day life. So to answer your question, we have become addicted because online people send likes and hearts. Now in real life, not so many people are sending you likes and love and hearts, no? In real life, I have to break my head, have conflict, talk, reason out. But online, it is so much easier because everybody likes what I post. But when I come home, I have to argue with my wife. My wife argues with me. She questions me. She challenges me. She challenges status quo. Sorry, I use wife. It can mean husband also. I'm gender blind in that sense. But what I want to say is that your spouse will question you, challenge your status quo, get you to answer, conflict with you. So we have forgotten to celebrate that difference. We feel online में सब कुछ अच्छा है, मेरे बाल अच्छे हैं, maybe I have a bald patch here, but nobody can see it because I've covered it, right? I've shown this profile. Just as a thought. Right? So online I'm hiding my weaknesses and only showing what is going to get me
Likes.
and love. Right? And that validation is so attractive. Because at the end of the day, human beings को क्या चाहिए ना? बात करने को चाहिए.
Crave for that.
Crave for attention and connection. So the only way to come out of that is connection. Can I tell you one experiment?
Please.
Okay. So this is a scientist called Bruce Alexander. Okay. And he had a very interesting experiment. So what he did is he took rats and he put them in individual cages. And through a catheter is like a pipe, like a medical pipe, he introduced addictive substance to that rat. Every time the addictive substance didn't go, like the time was up, the rat got all like restless, give me more, like, like in that cage. Then he took the rats out and he put them in an artificial park. There was like a windmill, there was cheese, there were places to rest, for them to have fun and do masti majak. Then he gave that substance through the catheter. What happened? They didn't take it. So the conclusion, the opposite of addiction is real connection. Or for us, real human connection. And this is called as the famous rat park experiment. And hence, my friend, the only way to come out of that validation is to interact with people and just look inside someone's eyes. I wish schools, before the day ended, created practices that one student looks inside another's eyes just for 1 second and say, I understand you. I do it in workshops all the time, by the way, when I work with corporates. It's very difficult. The most difficult part of workshops that I do is getting two people to look inside their eyes because they'll start laughing. Eyes will go here and there. But it is so funny because the eyes build trust. But the ones that really do it feel that connection. Sometimes people will walk up to me and says, मुझे वो कुछ बोला भी नहीं, मुझे समझ में आया उसको कुछ हो रहा है आज. Just through the eyes. So we need validation. And if we don't get it from our real life friends and people we study with or go to work with, or if one couple, like the spouse, today spouses are not able to communicate, right? I will again say wife tells the husband. I promise my husband's going to kill me. But if the husband, let's say, tells the wife his stress at work, and he'll say, you're always crying about work, yeah, why don't you just change your job? But that's not the solution. And if the wife tells her problems, he'll say, you're always nagging. What will that wife do? Go on social media, no? Post some pretty pictures of her where 10 random people will say, pretty. Husband will post his pictures in the gym. Oh man, you buffed yourself. And some random 10 people will tell him. Because wife is not telling, na, oh, you're looking so hot. Right? And that is the unfortunate truth of life. And that's how social media is killing. At the time of death, in the time of crisis, my Instagram followers are going to come, kya?
No.
No, right? It is the real life ones that will come.
There are, in this life of a teenager, maybe even an adult, there are fake people all around you. I mean, there are people who say that, yes, we care for you, and at the end of the day, when you really need them, they're not there. But, emotionally shatters us. To actually, how to come over this?
Is that what's stopping you from meeting friends? Sorry, I'm just such a...
Psychology than you.
Sorry, I killed your question. But is that what is stopping you? To feel that there are fake people around and that's why you don't go out and meet them and stay with your laptop?
I'll tell you my reason.
No, don't tell me your reason, please.
Okay.
I will start counseling.
After the session, I need to have a talk.
That is possible. But listen, sweetheart, there are fake people, but there are also real ones. It's like when you have a hammer in your hand, all you can see is nails. Now you've had some fake experiences. Your experiences are real. You've had experiences with fake people. And maybe there were 2, 3, 5, 6, 1 dozen. But 1 dozen is not the rest of the world. You've just got to build trust again. What is my word? You have to build trust again that there are real people. And you just had that phase in life where you met a few fake ones. I've met fake ones too in my life. Friends that lie through their teeth. People whom I've really helped through critical times. Not even check on me in my difficult times. But one has to realize that I did what I did for them because that is my human value. मेरी वैल्यू थी ना हेल्पफुलनेस, मेरे को हेल्प करना था. मेरी वैल्यू थी कंपैशन ना, मैंने किया. उनकी नहीं है. I can't change them.
Basically, you should accept it and move.
Accept that this is one shade of life. कितने कलर है ना रेनबो में. वो एक कलर था. अब इतना टाइम वो कलर तुम्हारे साथ रहा ना, वो तुम्हारा नज़रिया बन गया. It's like you're wearing colored glasses and everything just appears of that color.
Right.
So basically, it's a chapter of life and you should just turn the page.
Yeah, turn the page. But remember, it's your life. You cannot negate the page. हमको ऐसा लगता है वो चैप्टर बंद है, नहीं, वो है, वो मेरी चैप्टर का पेज है. अभी ये कम उम्र में तुमको फेक और रियल में समझ आ गया है. भगवान का शुक्र करो. कल कॉर्पोरेट में जाएगा ना, जैसे फेक देखेगा अंदर ही घंटी बजेगी. इंट्यूशन विल कम अप. गुड, भगवान ने अब भी सिखा दिया. लेस टेक्स.
So ma'am, we see that in the recent years, the entire new trend of competitive exams for India especially, I would like to go with JEE and NEET. So these papers and these competitive exams have really start to put stress upon student life, where parents and students themselves start preparing for it at a very young age, and might happen that they are not able to explore all the career fields, and because of the pressure they're just seeing one or two career fields for the rest of their lives. So ma'am, is there a way that a student can look at other careers, and is there a way that one could actually relieve this pressure created by these competitive exams among students and amongst parents?
Okay. So you've asked two questions in one. The first question is today, career options are very wide. Very wide. You know, when we were younger, there were only options doctor, engineer, CA. Okay. And it became a matter of parental prestige if the child took it up. Okay. First and foremost, every parent needs to realize that the child is going to be his full potential and not live the unfulfilled dream of the parent, which very naturally gets passed on to the child. Today, the way things are, I really believe in the future of the world, there will be chief focus officers. That means maybe your main role in life is helping people focus. Yeah, it's a future of work. I believe in the world tomorrow there will be walkers and talkers. That means people that will walk and talk with you whilst you go to work, because people will really want people to talk to. There will be chief focus happiness officers at the workplace, and maybe your job is just to give people and help people happiness, you know, and those are interesting spaces, even not just as a psychologist. Beyond that, there are the technology world is evolving. Every 6 months technology is looking different. So life is just beyond being doctors and engineers and CAs. Today, mass communication, PR are great fields to be in. If you like that kind of life and flexibility and agility it brings to your life. Okay, the way fashion is evolving. You know, I recently met a psychologist and she was a student wanting to intern with me, and she says, I'm specializing in travel psychology. And I said, wow, that's amazing. Why are you working with me? Because I'm not a travel psychologist. She says, depending on the personality of the traveler and what makes them happy, I will curate experiences for them. Great. There's not a single travel psychologist so far, or they're not as common as we can imagine. So I think parents need to be really open to what makes the child happy. The awareness I want to bring to you is that there are so many different assessments that you can do, and even if there's not an assessment, just asking the child, what is making you happy, what is making you tick, and letting the child pursue that, I think will really reduce a lot of stress and pressure in that child's life. Okay, like facility management. Earlier facility people used to get into, if you have nothing else to do, become a facility head. You know, but that's today it is a full-blown profession. Facility managers actually now sit on the boards of organizations as well. The country head for facility management, they are not just cost centers, they are actually strategic. Like earlier HR, human resources, used to be only a people management. Today human resource heads are becoming CEOs. Look at global companies, right? So in HR also there are many, there will be culture specialists, people who specialize in building organizational culture. So really let the child pursue what the child is being happy doing. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, today so many things children are doing under pressure. There are so many things parents are doing under pressure, which may not be very healthy. Right? Suicide is only one extreme. But remember, when a person suicides, it is not an indicator of them only. It's also a poor indicator of the society in which that person lives. Because, like I said, we have the luxury of taking care of ourselves, but the honor of taking, it's not my line, but the honor of taking care of each other. And hence, If you were not able to catch a person who was deteriorating in mental health, if you didn't red flag it, if you didn't reach out, if you didn't call out to the person, if you didn't say, I want to talk to you, tell me how you're feeling, it's also your incapacity and your failure. Failure of institutions, failure of organizations to not create that culture. Now, to answer your question, what to do if there is anxiety? Okay, anxiety within us to see, pressure is, what is pressure telling us? Like I said, emotions are not good and bad. They're telling us a message. You have to pick up the phone and say, hello, what are you telling me? What is pressure telling you? In a pressure cooker, have you ever operated a pressure cooker?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
We cook.
There's a safety valve.
Yeah.
What is the function of the safety valve?
So in case the pressure increases and a full-blown blast happens, they try to release the pressure before it
Correct.
blasts off.
Correct. So even within us, we need that safety valve before we blast. Who is the safety valve? One is realizing, if the parent is saying, chalo, my bachcha is getting into competitive exam, let me take him to a psychologist in advance. No, proactive mental health. Safety valve banao na. Teach the child how to manage his anxiety. Teach the child how to manage the pressure. Teach the child how to sleep healthy. Imagine, अगर यहाँ से कोल्हापुर जाना होगा तो कितनी बार स्टॉप करेंगे गाड़ी? 2 बार. पर यहाँ से अगर दिल्ली जाना पड़ा तो कितनी बार स्टॉप करेंगे गाड़ी?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Longer the drive, greater the need for renewal. Parents forget that. The more the child has to perform, athletes, Olympics do that. Greater the performance, more the breaks you have to take. But we feel ज़्यादा काम करना है तो ज़्यादा निचोड़ो. एंड पहला चीज, नींद को कॉम्प्रोमाइज करो. ड्राइवर सो जाएगा, क्या है, क्रैश है ना?
Right.
Like that. Greater the demand, greater the need for renewal. These are fundamentals that we forget. We remember with car, drive. People take more time to plan their holidays than to plan their mental health. हाँ, डिनर जाना होगा तो जोमेटो खोल के देखेंगे कौन सा डिनर लोकेशन अच्छा है, क्या ऑफर है, क्या है. बट कभी अपनी मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए उतना टाइम दो ना. सो सेफ्टी वाल्व पेरेंट्स शुड टेक. एंड द बेस्ट थिंग, इफ यू हैव नॉट टेकन, at least tell the child, breathe in and out with a sound. Do it with me. Breathe in. Make a gentle sound. Breathe in. Sound. One more time. Sound. She's doing it. You're forgetting. Breathe in. Much better. Now notice how you feel. Just sound. The sound is important. Safety valve. आवाज आना चाहिए.
Okay.
So the logic is, there is a part of our brain which is called as the amygdala. The amygdala is an almond-shaped structure, and every time your brain feels unsafe, which is fear, fight, fright, it acts as if, see, like right now, for example, अगर ये कमरे से टाइगर आया तो क्या करेंगे?
We'll freeze for a second.
Freeze. What will you do?
Yeah, freeze and
Try to run. Okay. Yeah, somebody will say, I'll try and fight the tiger. Somebody will say, I'll run away, I'll do this, I'll climb up. You know, he's athletic, maybe he'll climb. We'll be stuck here. Just close the door, correct? So different things we will try, right? On the other hand, if a cat comes in, what will you do?
Pet her or him.
Pet it. What will you do? Pet it.
I would
Play with it. Or someone will say, chalo, shoo, go. Either way, right? What if in life the cat is coming, but we are perceiving it as a tiger?
Deep.
And I guess we should be having that maturity enough to actually analyze.
Correct. And hence parents and teachers are looking at those exams like the tiger. And hence they're both, as a family, they're fighting, fright, freeze, flee. And hence children, when they cannot deal with it, commit suicide before competitive exams, because flee, I don't know what to do. I can't fight it anymore. And so when we do the breathing in and the breathing out with the sound, we're actually doing Control Alt Delete, restarting that computer which has 50 icon open, because it has perceived tiger when it is cat.
Right.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Now my question to you is, अभी इतना मैंने आपको टिप दे दिया, माइंड हैक. अब breathe in and breathe out with a sound करोगे कब?
When I'm studying and I'm frustrated and I want to bang my head, but yes, I need to take a
50% only correct. Try.
I mean,
Now, come on, from all the things I've spoken
so
about.
for me, I think I take life's approach very differently.
No, I don't want.
No, I agree with you,
when
but
will you do it?
see, I don't have those feelings for my any. Okay,
Even you don't have the feelings.
No.
You're not obese, but you still work out, you exercise, play sports. No?
yes,
Why?
because that's for my relaxation of mind.
Correct. Exactly. So she's saying, I will do it when I'm stressed.
I'll do it whenever I feel that my life is out of control.
But that's again when you're stressed.
So you want me to tell
प्रेशर
the
कुकर
okay.
में
So
सेफ्टी
whenever
वाल्व
I
प्रेशर
feel
कुकर में एवरी टाइम होता है या फटने वाला है तब तुझे अभी फट रहा है चलो सेफ्टी वाल्व लगा दो
so, whenever I feel like I'm getting to a stage where I will break.
यू जस्ट डू इट एवरी डे तुम अपने एप्स बंद करते हो ना मोबाइल में
Yeah.
क्यों क्योंकि बैटरी नहीं ड्रेन होना चाहिए ना करेक्ट लैपटॉप में भी फोल्डर बंद करते हो ना
Yes.
You actually got a soft card.
हाँ
You actually got a soft card.
correct I know which is why you will never forget it for the rest of your life yeah now which is why you will do this once every 1.5 hour your brain has a cycle like the heart beats na lub dub cycle kidney cycle right lungs cycle everything in the brain cycle so everything in the body works as per a clock and the brain's clock is 90 minutes you've got to do it before the problem happens. I have said it so many times in this entire podcast, right? Mental fitness has to be
Related to mental fitness.
Give priority.
proactive, preventive, daily, fun.
So condition before
Correct.
breaking.
What gets measured gets managed. Now you get it? Very good.
There are just few behavioral patterns which parents might be doing unknowingly which affect the child. So, how could parents actually identify it so that they have a better
Connection before correction. That's the rule number 1. Okay. That's the first thing. Using non-violent communication, observations and not assumptions. Point number 2. Third is, let's say if you break up, not you, like hypothetically, break a leg and your mother says, नाटक क्या करिए चल के दिखाना. How will you feel?
Oh God.
Pathetic, right? Yes? But let's say you're having a bad day and your mother says, चल ना अभी नाटक क्या करिए चल बाहर जाना. What will you feel? It's normal. Why?
We're used to it.
Correct. So we normalize invalidating feelings
Or
as parents.
so we normalize toxicity in our lives.
Ayo, very big word. No, this is not toxic. Wait, someone is I will tell you what is toxicity. But let's say you're feeling sad and someone says, क्या छोड़ना सब ठीक है.
Yeah, so you take it.
It's invalidating your experience. Sometimes your question is what parents should not do. Parents should not invalidate feelings. Like I'm not feeling up to it. Then instead of telling, don't be stupid, just go, it's important what's making you feel not up to it. Or even if you don't want to get inquisitive, if the child is too private, tell me about I'm not up to it. I'm willing to listen. And that is important. Validating the experience is important. And third is don't make life with a child a power game.
Okay. If you could elaborate on it.
It's like it's my word against yours. This is my house. What I say happens.
So governing them basically.
Yes. Set boundaries together. Like for example, if you have to use digital devices, which is now a big monkey on everyone's back, especially parents more than children because they are enjoying themselves doing it. First, parents also have to, by the way, stay away from mobile phones if they want their children to make a difference. 3 is make a digital creche at home, like, where kids are kept creches where you put children, right? But in your house, put a little creche, and everybody puts their digital devices in that creche at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, where you can actually spend time talking to children. Conversation, connection. And last but not the least is create the boundary. Like if you're giving the child the cell phone, preferably if possible, don't give it till the age of 14. But if you have to before, well, it's your choice. Give an old-fashioned one. And if you still have to give a new-fashioned one, then let the child co-create the boundary is what I want to say. Today's world is of co-creation. You just give a little, take a little, but co-create the boundary. And when the boundary is broken, talk to the child. What made you break it? You promised to come home at 8:30. It's 9. What's going on? Yes. And let's say next time, let's say this happens. How do you think, what do you think should be the, like there are actions and outcomes? What should be the outcome? Let's say, don't say punishment. Let's say you promised to come by 8:30, but you've reached home at 9:30. What should be the outcome? How do you want to be dealt with?
Well, I would like my mom or dad to ask me why in the first place. And when I explain it, I want them to trust me. And as a child, I should be also honest enough with them.
Correct. You should be. But why are people not honest? Because they have fear of being reprimanded, fear of being judged, fear of being beaten, punished. And so people tell the truth. They lie. Sometimes children lie just to protect parental emotion because the mother or father will not be able to take it. Yeah. So children are lying to protect parents more than themselves.
I have experienced this.
Correct. So you're just saying my mom can't handle it, but better lie to her. Or dad can't handle it, it's better lie to him. Okay.
So personally, I feel like people have misunderstood the concept of love.
They have.
They fantasize and keep high standards of love.
Correct.
And they are not able to navigate between infatuation and love.
Correct.
So what is actually love? As a psychologist, what do you tell your clients about love?
What did I tell you about love sometime back? Is it a primary emotion or secondary?
It's a secondary emotion.
It's a combination
joy and trust.
There you go. When you feel joy with someone and you trust them, do you love them?
But when it comes to love, it may not be that it is shown. People sometimes misunderstand that love is to be shown or love is to be provided for. So how can one deconstruct those Lala standards that they have?
Yeah. Now, पहले तो अपना standard of love is as per Instagram.
Yeah.
Or their anime. Yeah, so people start imagining. Our world is actually, see on Instagram, people are only...
Fantasy.
Yeah, they're posting only lovely versions, right? You're going for that lovely breakfast in the pool, and maybe you're, going for that fancy holiday, and everybody is having FOMO. कि मेरे पास क्यों नहीं है, तुम्हारी गाड़ी मेरी गाड़ी से सफ़ेद कैसे? पहले कमीज़ होता था, आज गाड़ी है. But unfortunately, that's a curse of social media, that they have warped our understanding of reality and illusion. And love is very messy, because you will feel joy with a person, but you'll also feel sadness. But when there is a fundamental base of trust, and I cannot begin to tell you that trusting someone and being vulnerable with someone, I would call it vulnerability-based trust, VBT, is very, very important. What does it mean, vulnerability? That basically if I walk up to you and tell you that, hey, I messed up today, I made a mistake, and you don't judge me for that. You say, okay, you want to tell me about it? Or I understand I messed up too, the other day, but I didn't tell you. And that is being vulnerable, that not to be... See, vulnerable comes from the Latin word vulnare. I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, but it basically means that I'm showing you my wound, but I'm trusting you're not going to punch it.
Right. Wow. So you can be your true self in front of them.
Right. And love is about vulnerability and trust. Not just predictive trust. मैंने को मालूम है तू ऐसा ही है. That is predictive trust. And love is not just that. I just know how you're going to respond. I know how you are. That is not love. That is just the ability to predict someone's behavior. That's predictive. But vulnerability-based trust is really the deepest kind of trust that you can have with someone. And when you have that trust with a person, And of course, you feel joy with them. You're able to laugh. You're able to like them. You're able to laugh with them over a movie, over a serial, over just simple things.
Being yourself.
Just be yourself. Not falling for the trap of pleasing someone, because when you please someone, you have to give up your identity. But doing things that make them happy, and then doing things that make you happy, and going through that dance.
Basically, in this age, teenage, we are in school. We
Correct.
have study to manage. You have your future to manage. You have your parents' expectation.
Correct.
And then as a break, you look out for relationships. And now since it's a trend.
That's not the best idea to look out for
So I
relationship.
think one question. So I was gonna ask you after she completed that what is the best time to get into a relationship?
I wish I knew.
So basically, I just wanted to ask that.
See.
Is this life?
Is this life?
Is this time okay to be in a relationship?
Listen, love is a great thing, and relationships are a great thing because it opens up your heart. And when your heart opens up, you open up to communication, you open up to empathy, you open up to understanding the needs of the opposite person. Isn't that a beautiful thing? To open up your heart to the needs of another being, to open up to communication, to open up to life together, conversations, vulnerability, right? So that has to motivate you to bring the best out in you. But if it is hogging into your personal space, if there is control allowed, don't talk to anyone else. If there is only talk to me, if it's not letting you sleep in time, if it's not letting you study enough, अरुण भैया लाल रंग से बच के रहना, मिस्टर इंडिया का डायलॉग था. मिस्टर इंडिया पिक्चर देखा है? No? Okay, then you won't know. But basically it's a red flag. Then you kind of, so this dialogue was, when every time he used to wear this gadget and he used to come in front of red color, he was seen. So there's a little boy telling Anil Kapoor, Arun bhaiya, lal rang se bach ke rehna. So that is it. So that's a red flag.
Red flag. Stay out of it.
Stay out of it. Yeah.
I mean,
correct.
So is it, we see generally that this is also causing a problem at marital level, when marriages are being broken off because of the same problem that we just talked about. Even addictions are coming in. When you
clarify your question.
So when you see that at this age, we see that there is an addiction
Which
of
age?
pornography. At this age, the adolescence age, we see that children have an addiction towards pornography. So how can one see? We can preventive. There is always a preventive cause, but one who is in the mud, how can he be taken out of it?
What was Bruce Alexander's experiment, Rat Pack? What was the learning? Opposite of addiction is?
Connection.
Real human connection. Now there is nothing, if the boy or the girl is in it, and most likely it's an accepted thing, that pornography is relatively more common amongst boys than girls. It is, the only way out is getting him to play a sport, channelizing the testosterone levels, getting him to connect to people, talk to people, talking about age appropriateness. And that is as much as a parent can do.
But at a personal level?
What about the personal level?
As a child who is into it and wants to get out of it.
You have to connect with him. You have to get him to meet people.
No, but if I am the one who is in the mud, for example, then how can I pull myself out of it?
By first telling your parents you have a problem. Otherwise, how will your parents know? Someone has to know, na.
But parents might not be that open to.
Okay, then then you're saying I am an addicted child to pornography with my need to come out. Mostly children in pornography addicted don't want to come out. They're happy there.
Yes, true.
Correct. Until they feel it is a problem. Right? If it is disturbing their day-to-day life, it is impacting studying, then that child has to get help, and it is okay to get help. अगर पीठ में दर्द है तो जाते हैं ना डॉक्टर के पास बोलते हैं ना. So then it is important to get help. But the best way is to connect to friends, go out, play sports, play games with them. Channelizing that energy is important.
Can love be helpful for personal and together development?
Of course, like I said, if love makes you empathetic, opens your heart out, then love is helping you consciously. It's conscious love. It's promoting your growth. But if it's consuming your identity, it's making you change who you are as a person. If it's consuming the rest of your life, then it's toxic. Very similar to friendships. every friendship, no friendship starts by saying, hey, I'm toxic, right? You're going to get into a friendship, but the person constantly is telling you what to do. Don't talk to this one, don't do this, making you please, sharing your secrets, and there's no trust left. Then that has become toxic. So remember, keep your plate with different things. Not just a person, whether it is one friend of same sex, opposite sex group. Live a holistic life. Have different groups of friends. Have hobbies. Have a sport. Have studies. Everything. Because ek nahi hai, you can lean back on other things. And don't lose your individuality. Not to social media, not to any person.
So don't keep a spotlight.
Just be authentic. Just be authentic. And if somebody has a problem with you, they go for therapy, not you. Yeah.
You are you. You have to keep yourself.
Yeah. I mean, of course, be careful not to hurt someone. I mean, compassion is your badge of honor. Don't hurt anyone. Don't go out of your way to hurt someone. And if you can't talk good about someone, don't backbite about them or bitch about them either. Because everybody goes through their own shit and people have their own problems. So be nice. It's the most attractive thing in the world. I think the sexiest thing anyone can have is kindness and compassion. It's a complete turn on. Yeah.
From your views on casual relationships and casual sex and on casuality in total?
I've never had them. So I have no view.
I think the majority of the problems that also come is because once you have a stable relationship, but you have a habit of casuality, you're not able to commit.
It's an addiction. They have commitment phobia. They have trust issues. They should really go for therapy. I promise you, everyone who can't commit has commitment issues. And their commitment issues come from the fact that perhaps in their growing years, they have seen their parents fight and argue while you were hiding in your bedsheet under the bed. And now you think relationships are painful. Your worldview is that relationships are painful. Because relationships are painful, I better have multiple people. Because if there is pain in one, I will get pleasure in another. It's just like...
defense mechanism sort of a thing.
Yeah. And that is the problem. So there is no concept. I mean, I'm not saying... it's a fact. I mean, no, people shouldn't walk back and say, I'm okay with casual sex or not okay with it, or casual relationships or not okay. I'm just saying, inspect where the need comes from. What is the need inside you?
Keep it healthy and keep it committed. Moreover.
I'm saying become aware of your need. I'm not saying get committed or not.
Be self-awareness.
Become aware of your needs. So I'm not saying be committed. If the person's killing you and is toxic, don't be committed. But I'm just saying be aware of your needs. So if you are in a relationship, even if it's toxic, be aware of your need. Maybe you are okay with toxicity, which means you are needy. That means you are so incomplete that you want someone else to complete you. But this bond is very fragile, you see. But if you complete yourself and then you meet somebody else who is equally complete, you see, this bond is stronger.
So don't get into a relationship because you're lonely. Be in it when you are...
Get into a relationship if you're lonely, but not out of incompleteness. Loneliness, by the way, is an epidemic. It's killing people. Being lonely is equivalent to smoking 14 cigarettes a day.
I guess sometimes...
You didn't hear me. Experiencing loneliness is equivalent to smoking 14 cigarettes a day.
But Mom, there might be some people who actually enjoy being alone.
Being alone and lonely is different.
Okay, so you mean emptiness or...
Right,
It's
loneliness.
something-
Loneliness is like muscle weakness. What happens when the muscle is weak? You can't walk. Then you can't walk, you still sit in one spot. So if you're lonely, you will put yourself in a shell, you will not come out. Loneliness is muscle weakness. It's a relationship weakness. You know, like lack of confidence is like, and if you don't work on lack of confidence and self-worth, it's like cold that becomes pneumonia. Correct? When you lose someone, when there is grief, when there's loss of a person in your life, it's like an emotional fracture. You can't walk, and you shouldn't expect a person to walk at that time.
And is it right to be emotionally blunt sometimes?
Or just don't hurt someone's feelings.
Not to hurt someone's feelings.
But speak your truth is what I believe. I'm a straight shooter. I speak my truth myself. So I really think people should speak the truth, but not at the cost of damaging someone's own self-respect.
Personally, I think that I have been called, and I myself think that I'm a very practical thinker than on a emotion quotient. So if suppose there's a grief or there's a loss happening, I would not react very emotionally to it, or I won't feel that that emotional availability wala thing in me.
So what's your question?
So my question is, I get questioned upon that you are emotionally numb upon it.
Correct.
But I do feel the pain, but I can't just express it on myself.
Correct. So first and foremost, understand we have two brains, right brain, left brain. The right brain is the emotional brain, the creative brain, and the left brain is the rational brain and the logical brain. Okay, we both have one, but we are dominated by one brain more than the other. Okay, now for some reason through your growing years, maybe the way your family, your parents were, you've realized that to hide or curtail emotions is healthier than to show them. It doesn't mean you're not feeling it. But of course, if somebody needs you to express feelings and validate it, then you don't have to bang your head against the wall or bang your hands on the chest to explain emotion. But to display grief is not a sign of weakness. Now, the point I want to highlight to you is portraying emotions is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Somewhere you see it that if I show emotions, I will be seen as weak, which is the myth you have to break.
I don't feel that showing emotions is weakness. It just doesn't come out.
Okay, no problem. Let it take its time. There's no pressing need. But it's there.
It's
Don't
there.
forget that.
No, yeah, it's there.
The day you forget that is the problem. If somebody else has a problem with it, they go for therapy. But if you are not able to acknowledge your emotions, then you go for therapy.
I prefer the first sentence.
Both are important.
Second
It's
is,
always easy to blame and send someone, you need help, just go for therapy. No, you're not sending someone to hell. Therapy is a beautiful place. And like I said, everyone should go for it. It's a beautiful place. You bring yourself together, you feel loved, heard, understood. You heal parts of your life that you haven't healed before. I think everyone must go for therapy. Everyone. Not whether you have a problem, 100%, and if you don't have a problem, then 110% go for therapy. Yeah.
some of the trauma thing that we were there. In recent times, we see that there are multiple divorces happening when parents split away. So does that somewhere psychologically affect the child's mind, and does it change the child's personality in future?
Of course. It's irrational to think otherwise. It's an illusion if parents think otherwise. See, it's like this. It's like if my hand is straight, how is my shadow?
Straight.
If my hand is bent, how is my shadow? Can I straighten my shadow?
No, you can't.
No?
You can once you are.
If I straighten my hand, right? So for every parent, their hand is their posture, their thoughts, their beliefs. The shadow is everything around them. Their children are their shadow. If there is a problem with a child, first the parent should get healed. So it's very important when parents go for divorce, before they go for divorce, they must go for therapy, they must take the child for therapy, and even after. Why? Because otherwise the child will pick up all the unhealed emotions. Anyways, the child is picking up emotions. Children pick up not what parents say, what they do. They pick up things energetically. So of course, it's important that they go for therapy. They clean their own psyche. So many times, parents' unhealed problems just get passed on. That's what's called generational trauma. From one generation to another, right? So we shouldn't want that, right? Again, like we at Mind Celebrations believe that going for therapy is an act of love. It's an act of consciously loving your child, caring enough for your child, caring enough for your spouse. Yeah, and of course, the reason why these divorces are happening is because social media is so available. We're always jumping there for some validation. Hence, talking to your spouse is a headache, right? And hence, conflicts happen. And when conflicts happen, there's no trust. And when there is no trust, we want disengagement.
So before ending the podcast, I would like to really ask ma'am that is psychology a good business to start with?
Are you going to be my new assistant?
I might be.
If you could have the privilege, yes.
Okay. So listen, unfortunately, business is not taught to psychologists, nor is it taught to medical doctors. Nor is it, so business is not taught to these fields. And I would highly encourage educational institutions to teach business to all students, because at some point, a lot of people will want to be entrepreneurs. Okay? If you know how to do business, then everything is good. Otherwise, yoga teachers would not be flourishing, life coaches would not be flourishing. So business, it's a great field to be in. Like I said, the future of the world will have a lot of walkers and talkers. It will have chief happiness officers. There will be chief focus officers. There will be culture specialists in HR. There will be specialists that build psychological safety at the workplaces. There will be leadership whisperers, people, the leaders can, because leadership is very alone at the top. So psychology is a great, it's maybe you want to rephrase the question that is it monetarily making sense? And my answer is yes. There are assessments. People become assessors before hiring. Let's say you put your job application, company needs. Maybe you're a great fit from just your profile, but are you a great culture fit for the organization? Are you, let's say you are hiring at a CFO role, but your decision making is slow from your assessment, we know. And maybe that company has a culture of agility, aggressiveness, then that slow decision making will not work. So I'm saying that there are a lot of fields in psychology. You need to know how to monetize it, need to brand yourself well and things like that.
So according to you,
Yeah.
who is the best fit for the psychologist as a career option?
I think the ability to listen. If you have this pressing need to speak up, but also listening is like building muscle. It can be learned. We go through a lot of training to learn to listen. 2 is the ability for being non-judgmental. It's a big one. Okay, it's very easy to say, but not to form judgments of people. 3rd is your ability to learn to ask questions, open-ended questions. That's also learned art. It's not doesn't come very easily. So, and of course, empathy and the willingness and need to help. Problem is children get into psychology and then kind of don't take it up because they feel like I can't hear people suffering. I get attached to their suffering. And if you are too sensitive and too empathetic, and then you move in the corporate space. But if you are good at listening, you can hear someone suffering and you don't sleep with it. Literally, you make a good clinical psychologist. But then there are forensic ones as well, which are coming up. So there are many different fields,
So I was wrapping it up, and the last question would be, what is this one thing which you would like to say to everyone in general as a psychologist?
So the first and most important thing is that the big message that I want to give every student, every parent, every listener, that mental fitness has to be practiced daily, proactive, okay, preventive. What gets measured gets managed. So go to www.mindcelebrations.com, find out, are you emotionally fit? Because it will tell you, are you emotionally fit? Are you emotionally hurt? Are you emotionally sensitive? 2, what's your digital happiness? What's your focus like? What's your relationship with your digital devices? Is it impacting you positively, negatively? 3rd, Are you headed for a burnout? So there are 3 easy assessments, 7 minutes each. Do them. Okay? And last but not the least, mental health is mindfulness. There are fun hacks that you can use. Practice mental health every day. Neurobiology says 16 minutes a day is great for health. So if you can give the gym 45 minutes, 1 hour, you can give your mental fitness 16 minutes a day.
Thank you for coming all the way from.
We actually,
No, I love talking. I have a congenital problem of talking. Chaliye, Shubh Ratri, Shabak Khair. See you on the other side.